Welcome back, guys. My name is Dimitri Sebastian.
And I'm Wes Kendall.
And we are back in session where your fitness and lifestyle questions are answered and bro science is put to the test. What are we talking about today?
Well, today, guys, we're going over some very important info. This is going to help hack your workouts, especially fueling them. We're going over fueling your workouts for performance, specifically when to eat and what to eat. We're talking about what to eat the night before, what to eat 2 hours out, 1 hour out, during your workout, after your workout, and then, your post-workout meal, which is, where you're really refueling. So that's what we're going over today, full menu.
So you're taking away all of my excuses, which is kind of bullshit, but you know what? That's what you're here for, solutions.
Yes.
And if you guys haven't already noticed, we set the bar super low in our first couple of videos as far as how the studio looked, and I think it looks a lot better. Nice black background. And,
already improving.
I think we pop. I think this really makes your eyes pop.
Thank you. I mean, it's Oprah Black, so it's going to help us slim.
Yeah, I feel slimmer already.
Yeah, I
it's
feel
great.
thin.
I don't even need to lose weight. I feel awesome.
Yes.
So let's go and get started into it right away. So when you talk about eating to fuel your workout, some people seem to think that that's like a stupid thing to say because we all think dirty bulks. It's like, yeah you just crush food and then you work right? out. Yeah, it's easy. Like, I'll eat some freaking In-N-Out and I'm ready to party.
Yes. Well, sometimes. Really, it's like you have to think about what you're trying to accomplish in the gym, and then you have to fuel it properly. So one of the bigger things is like determining like which foods your body can handle well. And, I do like the dirty bulk idea. It's fun and, it's enjoyable. But the problem is, say you eat that Chipotle or that In-N-Out, and then you got to go work out, right after that. You're going to feel slow, sluggish, bloated, and then it's going to be difficult to get another meal and another feeding in. And when you're really trying to like get in more calories, it's actually harder to get your protein intake and get the right foods in because you're still digesting and bloated from that bad meal.
I think we always like to circle back to the whole, like, you're not 21 anymore.
Right.
And that's where, like, kind of the anti-bro science comes in, because I think a lot of us, especially those who fell off the wagon now and they're trying to get back into it, they're like, well, when I was in college, I just crushed whatever I was going to eat. I'd sleep 4 hours. I'd be fine. I'd work out great. And now for me, especially, if I eat too high fat of a meal before going into a workout, it's just like, I don't even want to be here. I feel like I'm going to yak while I'm on the treadmill, stuff like that. So what does it mean to actually work out to fuel your workout if you're not in your early 20s and undefeatable?
Well, and especially, after you're in your early 20s, you're probably more advanced than you were before. So that's another reason why you'd have to start eating better. But yeah, basically what you need to do is focus on easily digested proteins and carbs before, and then after the workout, complex carbs and proteins to refuel and rebuild after. So what that looks like and what that sounds like is, when we have our different eating windows, something that your body can digest that's not too processed with fat or, with synthetic stuff. So that's going to be like rice or other type of, easily digested carbs like, fruit or, even like bread that's like not going to bloat you or make you have heartburn. So things like that with a protein source that isn't super fatty, like not pork, not, pepperoni, not something like, a sausage.
Oh, pepperoni sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Because even if like it's with the spice.
Yeah, it's just you don't want to be burping that up the whole time you're working on it anyways, right?
Yeah, if your meal starts talking back while you're in the middle of a workout, life sucks.
Agreed. Yeah.
A lot of people actually, you kind of got me turned on to this. I'd see it a lot before, like PT tests. Some people do like gummy bears and stuff like that. I mean, if it fits into your, just into
do you have the calories for it?
Your calories and everything. Crush a few gummy bears or something like that.
Some Gatorade even.
Yeah. It's funny because
simple sugar.
Gatorade's one of those things that it was like everyone's like, drink all the Gatorade. Because this was around time everyone's drinking like Pepsi for water. And then suddenly everyone came out and said, don't drink Gatorade. It's basically just soda. And then they came full circle around. They're like, no, Gatorade's good, but only if you're doing something.
Yeah, only if you're using it in the intra-workout or pre-workout window.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you're accounting for those calories, which we will get a little bit more into. But
I don't track sauce.
Yeah, I don't track veggies and sauce.
Veggies I agree with. Sauce is just a failure point for me.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that. I want to go over how to diet with sauce.
With sauce. That's actually, I feel like there's all of us are just hiding behind our sauces. It's like, I dare you to go to your kitchen right now and look how much sugar is in your ketchup right now. And you're going to be,
never turn it around, never look at it.
It's not sweet. It tastes vinegary. It's like, yeah, but the reason it's bearable is because of the amount of sugar in it.
Yeah.
So we have those carbs we're going into. Do you want any protein before your lift?
It depends on how far out. We'll get into that when we go over our eating windows. But basically, the farther out, the more protein you want. That's how the simple rule of thumb. So the closer you are to your workout, the more simple the food. The farther out, the more complex the food.
And then as we're going to these workouts, we're fueling, we're trying to be badasses. The thought process we have is we want to be a machine that's ready to go. So especially like if you are in a competition situation, you want to be saturated with protein, calories, everything. But while we're in the training phase and say we're trying to lose weight or we're trying to not gain, how do you fuel yourself appropriately to not take yourself out of that deficit?
Yeah, that's a good question because, you do want to fuel your workouts and perform in your workouts. But if your goal is to like stay under a certain weight, if you're like a weight class athlete or a wrestler or something like that, or if you're trying to cut weight and that's your goal because like you're overweight, then you have to eat more of your carbs before your workout and earlier in the day. So what that looks like is, say breakfast and meal one for meal one, and then meal two both have carbs, and then the rest of the day doesn't have carbs.
So it almost goes back to that like old saying where it was just like anything you eat past 6 is just going to become fat, which is not true.
Yeah.
But I think it was because we were such a carb heavy community when the anti-trans fats train went through, that everyone was eating carbs at night. So you're basically putting gas in the tank for a trip you're not going to take.
Yeah, it's like you're putting exactly. So, say you do put your workout in the morning or anytime after like first thing in the morning, you do want most of your carbs before that because that's when you're going to burn it is during your workout. So it's like, why put more gas in a tank that's already full?
Exactly. Because like when I'm trying to actually be really good at my carbs, especially when I was doing all those dumb diets, there's going to be more to come. Don't worry. I would always try and get my first carb in right as I woke up so that I wasn't feeling dead anymore. And then pretty much all the rest of them were right before my workout.
Yes.
Because especially when I was doing stuff like the paleo and stuff where carbs were like very limited, I needed to be very strategic in the placement, or I would either ruin the first half of my workday or I'd show up to my workouts really deflated.
Yeah, if you don't do it strategically, like you said, you'll either have a bad workout that's underfueled or you'll be hungry all day. So it's like, unless you do it around the workout, when you need the fuel, then your body's not going to really handle it well, and you're just going to be more uncomfortable than you should be.
Okay. Yeah. And we keep touching into what we're supposed to be talking about, so we'll just roll right into it. So when we're talking about the layout of how your diet should look, we have like the night before, 2 hours out, 1 hour out, during the workout, or essentially, and then after.
Yes. So
the night before, what does that look like?
Well, if say you're trying to do an event and you have to perform maximally on it, you're a race or something like that, then you want to be eating more like protein and carbs and even some fats at night because you want fuel in your system, in your stomach, digesting while you sleep so that you have that fuel. You're not like going into a depleted deficit state while you're sleeping and then like waking up already, in the hole. You're waking up fueled and ready to go. So I recommend that's why a big popular one is spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
Like spaghetti, meatballs, steak and potato, something like that. That's going to like really set you off with like those complex proteins and carbs so that you'll be fueling all night.
Now, assuming so that's the competition version. Like you have something to show up to.
Yeah.
Now let's assume I work out 3 days out of the week and I'm going pretty hard, but nothing crazy. Before those workout days, so this is going to be like 3 nights a week, what should that look like? Because obviously if you're crushing a whole spaghetti and meatballs 3 times a week, like that's really getting on the edge of like you're probably on a gainer. Yeah,
if you're cutting or like you're a casual person who's just trying to like not put on bad weight, then I would say, what you want is more of like the higher fat protein with veggies instead of the carbs. So that would be like salmon, or like some people will do like eggs at night, steak, ground meat, something like that. That's going to be a little bit more slow to digest. So not like white fish or chicken. I mean, you can do chicken, maybe like throw some avocado and olive oil in there. That's another way to do the same thing.
So you want to get your fats in at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because those are the things that are going to be like the hormones, the building blocks, the things that make transfers, but they're also the thing that slows you down the most.
Yeah, it makes that protein, that hunk of protein you just ate, sit in your stomach while you're sleeping. It's like so you're getting that fuel.
You ever heard like the itis where you eat so much that you want to fall asleep? That's really just because you ate like an incredibly high fat meal usually.
It's just like high calorie, high fat, high carbs, and you just like crash from those insulins.
Exactly. Everything just falls apart, and that's because your body is just like, I need to do something with this, and it's going to take all the blood from your brain.
It's like hibernation mode, big bear.
Not a good way to go into a workout.
You overdid it if you did that,
Yeah, exactly. So you wake up in the morning, you feel great, you feel fresh because you drink enough water, and you actually had a meal the night before. I'm already calling out like 40% of the people. Myself included.
We didn't even say hydration. Hydration is a given. You're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we're assuming you're the kind of person who wakes up feeling great. That's not me. So
how do you do it?
Well, you see, I just feel like shit always. So I just feel less worse at that time. 2 hours out.
Yeah.
I'm getting done with work at like 4. I'm going to be there at 6. I've decided I'm going to deal with the rush. What am I doing at 4?
Full meal. You want like a full serving of protein, full serving of carbs. If there's more, you don't want like a ton of fat, but you don't have to like completely avoid all fats in this meal. So this would be like, I have my lunch prep that I have, that I take to work with me every day that has my chicken, potatoes that I cooked, with a little bit of olive oil and veggies, and boom, like full balanced meal.
So full protein, full carbs. And then the fat is just whatever. It's not like you're avoiding it, but like we're not
dumping.
We're not focusing on it.
We're not. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then as we're pulling up, we're like the 1 hour.
Yep, that's when you want like protein shake banana, something like that.
Okay.
Something simpler, but you still want some of carbs and protein. Now this time you got to avoid the fat. 1 hour out. Yeah.
Okay, because then it's still going to be sitting there within that hour. And then honestly, it's I think we've talked about it before, the whole like running after eating a banana thing. It's just like you want to avoid things as you get closer that are going to be heavier. Like a banana will dissolve pretty quick.
Yeah.
But right out of the gate,
you don't want
too
to
much
like
weight
right before. Yeah.
And if you're talking like a protein shake, especially if you're like a 2 scooper, like that's a lot of volume to be going into.
No mass gainer right before.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Avoid that thing.
So now we are at the pre-workout stage. We're like pulling into the parking lot.
All right, this is where it gets tricky because you can overdo it again, just like everything else. But if your diet allows it, and if your style of training is, this, then you can take intra-workout carbs with like BCAAs or aminos.
Okay.
That's like pretty much your last shot to get some nutrition in if you still haven't done it yet. Now, one thing I want to point out, you don't have to do all 3 of these, nor should you do all 3 of these. I would say you should be doing 1 or 2 of these max.
I was thinking that. I was like, okay, 2 hours out, 1 hour out. Okay, so essentially it's like for me, I'm going to the gym right after work.
Yeah.
So dinner is sort of a little bit too much because I'm going to eat when I get back. Probably that's going to work better for me.
Right.
However, since that is a situation about an hour out from the gym, that's when I can get the protein shake in and everything.
Yeah.
You're someone who's able to. You're like you live at the gym because you work there, so you can say, okay, I'm going to have the lunch, and then I have a gap in my clients at 3. So boom, I can eat now, get that workout in, get back to it.
Yeah, I have 2 full meals before I work out usually. So it's like, I go for that 2 hour window. That's what I'm doing. For the intra or like right before your workout, you want something like Gatorade, something like, powdered carbohydrates, something like one of those pre-workout, fuel drinks, something like that that's liquid that you don't have to like chew down. I mean, even those like gel shots that those runners and bike riders use. That would work too.
Oh, those things are gross. Goo. That's what it's called. Do they still make those?
They do. I'm sure the flavors have gotten better since we've tried it.
They had to have. I remember my dad was really into road biking, and I always wanted one of those because I just thought it was badass.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was like a chocolate flavored goo.
Yeah, they were gross, weren't they? All of them were bad.
It felt like someone coughed a loogie into your mouth, and then it was like a flavor.
It's like sugar. How can you not make it taste good? It's like, what the heck? It's literally just sugar.
There's so many things from like the late 90s and early 2000s. Like, do you remember Power Bars used to be like it was like a fossilized dinosaur turd.
Oh, yeah.
And they like, you chewed into
break your tooth on it.
They were hard, and we finally got them broken off. It was like this like hardened road tar that stuck to your teeth, and it was just like, is this what it has to be? And then by the time like 2010 and up rolls up, they're like, hey, we found out how to make these not taste like garbage.
Yeah.
And thank God scientists, thank God nutritionists, because man, everything seemed to suck in the fitness community.
It's gotten better since then. We've come a long way with a lot of things, except for our pre-workouts. Those have gotten worse. But, that's for other reasons.
Have they gotten worse, or have they just like basically everyone's in on it and they're not regulated?
Well, now they're regulated.
Are they?
Before they weren't regulated.
Oh God! Oh, you're talking about when they're like meth and everything in them.
Yeah,
they have gotten worse. I mean, they have gotten better, but
they've gotten safer.
Safer. That's what we'll stick with.
Yeah.
So we can either have our full meal 2 hours out. We can have a light meal 1 hour out. Right before game time, that's when we're doing our liquid sugary drinks or pre-workout type drinks.
Aminos, stuff like that. Yeah.
Maybe like freaking gummy bears, only if that's, works for you.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of things.
Shot, whatever. Yeah.
I don't even want to recommend that. Things that are going to dissolve right away and they're not going to sit on you, because if your body gets the hint that there's a meal in there, it will pull away from your muscles because it needs to get rid of that.
Well, it's like your blood's going to your stomach, not your biceps.
Exactly. Exactly. And then when the sugars hit that fast, that's when you get the better pump and everything.
Well, it's just, yes, but you don't want to take so much that you get an insulin crash. It's like that when you get that tired feeling after eating or drinking a big, high calorie thing. That's what, if you don't want to get in the gym. Obviously, why would you want that in the gym? You're trying to be, hyped and go crazy.
Now, here's a question I feel like a lot of people who are healthier in air quotes kind of way.
Yeah.
And if they're, I feel like a lot of people want to do stuff like, okay, before my workout, I'm there, and then they're going to eat like some sugar-free gummy bears. Is that completely
sugar-free?
Yeah, that completely misses the mark, right?
Yeah, you're missing the point. If you're eating sugar-free gummy bears, it's like you're supposed to be eating sugar to fuel your
So we're
workout.
Not doing a sugar-free Powerade. We're not doing the sugar-free Gator. Like
you could, but not for calories, for electrolytes.
Yeah, electrolytes essentially. So if you're planning on doing it for a pre-workout thing, like it has to have the sugars in it for it to make sense.
Well, if that's what you're going for, yeah. If you're like, hey, I'm trying to, get some last minute carbs in so that I have some fuel for my workout, then it's like a sugar-free thing. Obviously has no calories in it, so it's not going to do that.
Because I would probably end up doing that to myself on accident, because I always just get the sugar-free Gatorades. Because when I drink it's because I'm like hungover and I need like electrolytes, and I don't want to get all, because there is a lot of sugar, especially in like the Powerades and Gatorades, but I don't want it. Yeah. So I would just end up like autopiloting through the gas station, grab the sugar-free one, get to the workout, and just be like, why do I still feel like crap right now?
One thing we should talk about, I think, you reminded me is, one thing the military does teach us is you can work out even when you're hungry.
That,
that
is actually very funny. Actually, there's two parts of that. They always talk about if you started hydrating the day before your event, you're dehydrated. You should be like hydrating like at least 2. You should be hydrated always.
Yeah.
But if you think if you drink a gallon of water in a day and you have your workout at that work, you're going to show up dehydrated. Your body has not had a chance to get that where it needs to go yet.
Right.
And then as far as eating goes, a lot of people, the word like hypoglycemic gets thrown around a lot and stuff like that. And like there's people who are diabetic. That's real. Hypoglycemia, it's real. But it's exactly like the sports-induced asthma. Like, I have that. I was like, come on, Wes.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's fake. I think as a culture, we're not comfortable with being hungry.
Nope.
There's like been funny
things.
Foreign
sensitive feeling that we're not used to.
Yeah. Like you can go, what is it, like 2 weeks? You can go 2 weeks and not eat. Like water's the big problem. And I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying if you had a meal at lunch, so you ate at 12 and your workout's at 4 and you kind of like, and it was a good meal, but then you didn't eat anything before that, you can work out.
Yeah. Or say you were working out in the morning and you ate the night before, you could work out.
Yeah. And then you can throw on, I do fasted workouts so that you sound like you're a cool guy.
Yeah. I mean, you may not be able to train legs at the highest intensity, but you could still get the job done.
That is a good point to add if you're doing like major lifts. If you're doing like a squat day or like a big deadlift day, like you want to show up properly fed for those. Yeah. Because especially if you're going max effort, man, it feels stupid to be squatting and get lightheaded and have to like rack it and be like, oh, you sit down, and you get those cold sweats. Like those are ones you want to show up.
You won't make progress forever, like that. You'll eventually plateau hard because you'll be showing up to the gym and you won't be able to make jumps in your progress. So you'll be, just doing the same underfed workout forever.
Exactly. So show up fed properly, but it's not necessarily a good excuse to be like, I didn't eat my intra bullshit. So
I forgot my intra powder. I can't work out today. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like the same thing I talked to you. I went to the gym without headphones and it was a disaster for me, but I did it anyways. But there was a part of me that thought I could just go home right now.
Of course.
I could go back and grab my headphones, and I immediately saw that I was like, if we go back, we're done.
Yeah.
But I really was
like, I'm not coming back out of that house.
I'm not coming back if I leave. So I went and suffered through it. Same thing with a meal. Like you can just deal. Don't make it consistent, but it's a thing.
Yeah. What were they playing in the gym? Was it good music or bad music?
It was a good day. It was a good day. Good. They weren't playing like freaking country music today, which I don't have a problem with country music. It's just not there.
Now we're trying to do squats and leg press
then
together.
We have the people who play sad Drake music, which again, I like sad Drake music, but it's really not time or place.
Yeah.
No, they did good this time. I think it was just like someone put on like a fitness hype workout Spotify thing. So I was like, thank you.
Could have been. There's a lot worse that gets played in there, so it could have been worse.
It gets bad. There's not everyone should have access to the aux cord.
Right.
So we're done with our workout.
Yeah.
We've eaten like 18 meals because that's what we just talked about. So someone's going to use that as an excuse later. Like, why am I getting fat? They told me to eat every 2 hours.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
Okay, so after your workout, now you have two things that you have on your radar after your workout. Your immediate meal, which some people will like talk about the anabolic window, which is,
can we stop for a second and talk about the anabolic window?
Yeah, sure. Let's go down. Let's throw down on the anabolic window.
The anabolic window is one of my favorite times in the fitness industry because we all were like, if you don't have that protein shake,
we all thought
within 2 hours after your workout.
It was 30 minutes for a while.
Was it 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. It was, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think they just slowly extended it.
I'll tell you the story. One of these protein companies, whey protein was becoming popular. And they're like, you know what? We're going to create this thing called the anabolic window and say that if you don't get this ultra fast, super fast absorbing protein in immediately after your workout, then you basically lost all your gains. And all the other proteins are so slow that they can't keep up. They can't hit,
right. And it was funny because it's like when shampoo companies are like, okay, so you're going to lather, rinse, repeat. Why do we need to repeat?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who needs to even like I've talked to girls with long hair. It's like, do you repeat? And they're like, not if you put enough the first time.
Yeah, not if it gets all foamy and shit. You're
good. You got the lather. The oil is like, you're gonna dry out your hair. It's like, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all accepted that was the truth.
Yes.
So it was like you were dumb if you said like, or even if someone was just like, I don't believe the anabolic window, you'd be like sitting there with your shaker at the gym, like, all right, bud. Like,
you're like slamming it on your last set of leg press.
Every single person had their blender bottle at the gym with them because you had to hit that. And that was, for me, that existed for me up until about 2016. Mm-hmm. I think that it started falling off before then, for sure. Yeah. But like for me and the people I was around, like you needed to get that in as it was for us at that time. It was 2 hours. That was like 2016. It was like, hey, you don't need to get it in like right away, but like really the first thing you should do when you get home is be getting that protein shake in.
The book answer is if you do a fasted workout, that you should get it in within 2 hours. Of your workout. And then outside of that, say you do want any of these pre-workout windows that we already talked about, you don't have an anabolic window right after.
Yep.
But you should still probably get it in within 2 hours.
Well, it also goes back to the hydration thing. If you're trying to hydrate day of, you're screwed. Same thing with like protein saturation.
Yeah.
Your body, when you eat something and you take a duty, that's like hours later. It's like working its way through, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I just ate this thing, gotta go to the bathroom, it's coming on out. No, it's not. Like, this is like yesterday's problems are today's shit.
True.
That's the same thing like protein. If you're continuously saturated in protein, why would you need an anabolic window?
Right. That's why a lot of fitness athletes eat multiple meals a day, because it's like, if you're not skipping your meals, then you have like a constant future supply of protein and aminos and carbs in your system that's just slowly going through your gut. And it's like, you know what? That meal I ate for meal 2 yesterday is now hitting me.
In quick biology class with Dimitri, you get most of your digestion done through the pipes, not necessarily just the stomach. Stomach breaks it down. You got all these phalanges, that's not the word, in your...
What are those called? I forgot.
I don't know. It starts with farfalla. I think that's pasta. But so like your stomach breaks down, and then as it's going through the pipe to become waste, that's where you're absorbing all the nutrients. So unless they're the quick acting carbs that break down the stomach and go straight in, it's just not how it works.
Yeah, it takes hours and days to digest.
Exactly. Yeah. So the anabolic window is a hilarious time in my life, and I think it's great.
We all fell for it.
We all just decided it was real, and then everyone slowly just... Yeah. I don't think anyone really ever took responsibility for how wrong we were either. Everyone's just sort of like, Yeah, you know,
it's whey protein company's fault. I'm telling you.
No, but
they're
yeah,
the ones who did it.
All the guys on YouTube who were like the window, they just like stopped saying it, and they were like came out and said like, "Hey, I'm dumb."
Yeah. It's silly, but basically, what I recommend is more the same approach. You know, I do think that the shake is good post workout, but not necessarily because of the immediacy that you need the nutrients, but because you don't want something super heavy and super hard to digest immediately after you work out.
Yeah.
Because if you go hard in the gym, you probably don't feel like eating a big meal. You probably feel like, hey, I just need to like sip it on something and like slowly recover, get back to my normal heart rate, things like that.
I have noticed that when I first started working out and I was doing kind of like these joke of a workouts, I'd come home like, oh, I'm so hungry. I've had such a good work. And then now it's like when like we have I was talking about that leg day. I came home and I just like laid on the couch and my body was just like, don't touch me. Don't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you like, hey, Harry, don't touch me.
Yeah.
I had to like force myself to finally eat something because like I was like my body was in attack mode. They're like there's predators everywhere. We should not be eating right now.
Yeah.
And so we'll say you're not a lunchtime workout person. I don't think most people are able to be.
Right.
You finish
it's a luxury.
It is a luxury.
Yeah.
Say you finish your workout, you get out of there at like 6 or 7. Assuming you're the kind of person that like, you know, you need to get a late meal in.
Yeah.
What should you be eating? Because most of us finish eating around like 5 or 6, even if we go to the gym later. But what is like a good end of the day meal for someone that still has a meal's worth of?
Okay, so like say you work out like after work, you get done with work at 5 and then go to the gym and then eat after. That's what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would do is either get your shake in and then have a meal in afterwards, or if you can't, you could have your shake before, you know, in the 1 hour time window, so you have at least something in your system.
Yeah.
And then when you get home at night, if you still have carbs, throw some carbs in at night. I don't think it's a bad idea to have carbs in right before bed if you work out right before bed.
Fair.
If you are working out earlier in the day, then it's not necessary. But and especially if you are like not overweight and you are, you know, trying to maintain or like progress, you need those carbs post workout.
Okay.
Before bed. Like if you need to, you know, get bigger or get stronger, those carbs are almost mandatory.
Fair.
Cool.
Fair. Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. Have we solved all the world's problems? Is everyone going to be like exactly the size they want to be now?
No.
Oh.
It's still going to take some trial and error and playing with it. Yeah.
I thought we solved it. So we kind of break things down into eating is something you have to be a little bit deliberate with, especially if you want to get the maximum amount of performance and results.
Right.
We're talking about the night before, especially if you're going hard the next day, you want to get those big carb, big protein meals in. If it's a regular day, just get the protein, get the fats in, get it all in so you can sleep on it and it can digest. The morning time, the 2 hours out, we're going to want to have like a good lunch, not too high in fat, but it's not something we need to focus on necessarily. To the 1 hour out is when it starts getting like as we get closer, we like hone in and be more specific.
Yeah, it gets more critical the closer you get. You're completely right.
The 1 hour out, we're talking like a protein shake, we're talking a banana. Then right as we get to the gate, if it isn't something that you could run on, probably don't eat it.
Yeah.
Like we're talking super light carbs,
Liquid.
gets you a little bit of energy. And after the fact, we're back to the night before. So if you're someone who works out kind of late, get a good dinner in, and it does come down to everybody's different and everybody's on a different diet. So if you're someone who's listening to this, you're like, well, I'm on keto. So when am I supposed to get my carbs in, huh? And it's like, okay, come on. Like it's different.
It's like, you know the answer.
At that point, it's more like, when do you get your fats in?
Yeah.
You don't get your fats in right before you work out. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Solved it for you.
Easy. Yeah. Keep it simple because you're going to complicate it and eventually it's going to actually hurt you rather than help you. Yeah.
And then we didn't talk about vegetables at all because vegetables don't count. Get your fiber in wherever, except for right before you work out, because then you're gonna want to throw up because you have something in there.
The 1 hour before and the 1 hour after, you don't want veggies, but 2+, absolutely.
Yeah,
get those veggies in.
Get them in all over the place.
That's actually one important thing, and thanks for bringing that up. Say you are eating an hour before, you don't want a bunch of fiber. That's true. You just want more of like the simpler carbs. That's why I thought the banana, as opposed to like brown rice, would be a good option. You know?
Yeah. I'm kind of a white rice guy these days, anyways.
Me too. Brown rice is for...
It tastes worse, and I don't see the benefits.
It's for the nerds. All the nerds eat brown rice.
Cool. Well, I think we've covered it for today. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us again as we as we say, we have us still on the podcast, so you guys can still find us there online where you've been getting it before. Come to the YouTube channel. You're already here, obviously, if you're watching it. BNS_radio. Like, subscribe, watch the videos. It helps us a lot. Let us know if you want to see something different. Send in your listener questions. We deeply appreciate you. And
do you think we should do one of these live one of these days?
One step at a time.
Okay, I was like, oh, easy to it. Pump the brakes. Okay, fair enough.
All right, guys. Yeah. We'll talk to you next time.
See you on the next one.